Hey guys, Edward Freytag here to do a tutorial for you on the Tennessee 2020-21 All-State Auxiliary Percussion Prepared Piece Etude. The one I'm doing tonight is going to be focused on the timbales, which is section A of the Etude. If you'll take a super quick look with me, here is the setup that I'm using at the moment. Of course, this is not what's required for your audition except for a few pieces. I've got my two timbales here. I have a 13-inch and a 14-inch, my high and my low. I have my main bell in my setup, and the one I'm going to use for your audition piece is here. Notice I've got it a little bit to the right of the timbales. That makes it more accessible when I'm playing the written licks. And then you guys are required to have a splash cymbal, so I'm using this Sabian prototype right here, and I've got it a little bit to the right of my bell. I'm finding that ergonomically, this works really well for me as far as moving around the gear, right? One of the things that you might need to take into consideration is the type of sticks or implements that you want to use when playing the timbale setup for your audition. Here I have a set of innovative percussion mambo timbale sticks, a great standard choice. Get some real great cutting sounds out of the instrument with these. Let you hear them just a little bit. Another option are a type of rod. These are the innovative bundles rods, the bamboo heavy rods. I love these. I use these a lot. Matter of fact, I use these on many pro gigs, and they work great for me in the timbale setup. So here's the kind of sound you would get with your rods. So I've opted to use the rods for this particular recording because of the acoustics of the room. I think they're going to work the best for me. So let's take a look at the piece. Right at the very beginning, this being section A, you'll notice we're in 12/8 time. So we've got a little bit of a 12/8 Afro-Cuban feel going on for us during this segment, but it also transitions into 4/4 time into more of a salsa feel. So let's take a look at your introduction. The introduction, notice that first little grace note. Got a little Z in it. I'm actually wanting you to buzz your stick, your left stick into the head, and to get the setup there. Also notice that there's a grace note at the end of that measure that's marked as a rim shot. So we're actually going to shot that grace note to get some volume out of it. And you can feel free to play that grace note pretty high. So let's look at these first two bars as the intro. I'm going to play this a couple of times for you. Cool? So we're now at letter A. Letter A is where we actually get into the 12/8 groove. I'm going to take at first just this first bar, and I'm going to play on it just a little bit for you so you get kind of a general idea of how we really want this groove to feel. There's a lot of nuances when you're playing any type of commercial music or Latin music or jazz, and sometimes those nuances don't really show up as accurately as they could in the notation. So I want you to kind of see what I'm doing here. Notice that there's some little bitty notes notated that are smaller than the regular note heads. Those are indicators of ghost notes. Matter of fact, sometimes on those ghost notes, I may not even play some of those notes. I might leave a few of them out. But nonetheless, they're ghost notes timekeeping. Audience may or may not hear them, particularly in the general mix, but they are important to the groove. So I'm going to play a little bit on just the first bar at A, because this is the basic groove. You probably noticed that while I was playing the groove, I actually made some alterations to what was written in the first measure at letter A. I just put in some fills in places, or I revoiced the drums just a little bit to give it a little bit of lift and charisma. For the sake of your audition, you need to play what's notated there. But in a real live performance, if you're grooving, always feel free to take some liberties. All right, take a look at the first 3 bars, starting right at letter A. There are those 3 12/8 groove-based bars, taking us up to the downbeat of the 4/4. I'm going to play those for you a couple of times so you get a great idea how they all work together now that we have a general idea of groove style. And I'll stop at the downbeat of the 4/4. When I'm done with this, we'll come back and we'll talk about the metric modulation that we need to actually get us into that 4/4 section. So here we go, right at letter A, taking us up to the downbeat of the 4/4. The transition from the 12/8 into the 4/4 is going to require a little metric modulation. If you'll take a look at your last 12/8 bar, right before it transitions, you'll see above the staff 3 quarter notes. Those 3 quarter notes represent counts 7, 9, 11. The speed of those quarter notes will become the speed of the 8th notes in the 4/4 measure. For example, if I'm in 12/8, that's 7, 9, 11, 1. But that speed will become this. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. And that's our metric modulation. Cool? All right, let's see how that sounds when we actually apply it to the instruments. So, hope that cleared up the metric modulation for you, transitioning from the 12/8 into the 4/4. So let's take a quick look at the 4/4. Pretty self-explanatory on the page, so I'm just going to play this one down for you a couple of times. So the transition from the 4/4 going back into the 12/8 is quite a bit simpler than the previous metric modulation. The closing rhythm in the 4/4 sets you up really well for the 12/8 and creates an easy transition. So there's your rhythm. That transition's pretty easy. Let's hear it on the drums. So the last 12/8 segment, taking us out to the end of the etude, we have 1 bar of the original groove as notated, and then we have about 1 bar and 2/3 of fill, and then we have a little lick right at the very end to take us out of the piece. This fill is going to be improv, so there's tons of choices that you can make. Make sure that whatever you choose, that it has something to do with the groove a little bit and makes some logical sense in relation to making the music flow. So I'm going to play just several examples for you, putting in an improv little fill there and then taking you out to the end of the piece. Just kind of give you some ideas. And then you experiment with it on your own, and good luck and make a great statement on it. All right, here we go. So, hope all the segmented tips on Section A and the Etude are very helpful to you guys as you're preparing for your audition. Work on the improv really hard. Work on getting a great feel on all the grooves. Try to keep the time and the tempo just locked in and have a great time playing it. Cool? All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Hope it helps.